and welcome to my June wrap up. But also, I'm going to combine this with the mid year freakout tag. So we'll be doing both. But first, we're going to start off with the June wrap up. So let's get into it. This list, I was writing down my list of all the books I read this month just to make sure I had them all. And I was like, this list seems kind of short. And then I had to remember I DNF'd so many books this month for me. And I was just like, wow. So I added those as well. So we'll get to those too. I made a video in the end of May, beginning of June, about potential chaotic TBR. And I'm going to put up a graphic of all the ones that I read and didn't read that were from that video. And I think I did pretty good for my first TBR back into TBR land. This will not happen every single month. I just want to see how good I would do if I did one. And that's how well I did. So let's get into the books. First, I have Only for the Week. And this is a reread of mine. I wanted to annotate it for the first time. And I did. I had a great time rereading it. I don't really rate my rereads as much as I rate like a first time read, because I feel as though I loved it then and I loved it so wholeheartedly that I would never re-rate it. But I still gave all the ones that I gave 5 stars 5 stars. Some of them I don't have, I found better, whether that's from the same author or just in general. But I love this book so much. I read it for the first time 2-3 years ago. Had a great time, so I'm just gonna keep on keeping on with it. Next, I have Goldfinch. This is the 6th and final book in the Play the Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy, and I give it 4 stars. I really adored it and had a great time with it. I think books 3 and 5 are way better. I was just like hooked. I was hooked in this too. But this ended in a way that I was like, this has to get a spin-off series. This has to. Because I need more. And I teared up at this. There were scenes in this that I was like, wow, she knows how to write. Sometimes I think her books are a little too thick on the thick side. She's one of those authors who became traditionally published and nothing really changed in her books, which I love. But yeah, good book. All right, now I have a row of DNFs. The first one I DNF'd was Midas Touch. This is for a video that's already out where I'm trying to read over 35 plus authors before I go to the convention where they'll be at. This was bad and it was pissing me off and I just did not like it at all. You can see my thoughts on that in the video. The next one I DNF'd was They Call Me Dom. Didn't like this one either. I actually DNF'd this at 11 pages. I think that's the earliest I've ever DNF'd a book before. And it was at 11 pages. So, bad. The next one I DNF'd was Playing with Fire from that same video as well. I got 40% into this one, so this one's a little bit different. And I just think I was in DNF season. I wasn't giving nothing a chance. And I don't mind at all. I would actually reread from this author more than I would reread from any of the authors from that book, from that video. And it was just crazy. I was like, what is going on with all of these books that I'm DNFing? I've never DNF'd that many, and especially not in a row. But I liked her the most. I just didn't connect with her characters enough to continue with the book. But I would read a shorter book by her to see if I like her more. Next, I read In 27 Days, and I had a great time reading this. I loved it. This brought me back to my Wattpad days, because when I was reading Wattpad, this is the type of stuff I was reading on Wattpad. I was reading romances a little bit, but I was either reading werewolf shapeshifter nonsense, which wasn't nonsense, it was good. I was reading like emotional turmoil things like this, or I was reading like adult women having problems. Like it was one of those 3 things, and I was like, yeah, this is where is that? This is art, and it was art. It was really art, and I really loved it. I really enjoyed this book. I think everybody should read this. This is a beautiful book. I feel like trigger warning for suicide and things like that, and domestic violence. Those things are in this book. I gave this book 4 stars. Next, I read Vinland Saga Book 1. I don't know how much Book 1 includes. Like, if I got, like, a single manga, how much that would be. But it had, let me see, 16 chapters. So, it's over 450 pages. So, I really enjoyed this. I would give it like a 3.5. I had a good time reading it. I liked the backstory. And I thought the backstory was very Viking. I watch a lot of Viking TV shows, like literally Vikings, and then Vikings Valhalla, and then what's the other one called? Well, he's trying to get his kingdom back. He's you guys know what I'm trying to talk about. I'll put a picture in. But I read a lot. I watch a lot of Viking media, and I just am very excited that I read this. I felt like everybody's been talking about it and loving it, and I would continue with the series. I have book 5 because I got book 1 and book 5 from Goodwill for like $1, but I need to find 2 through 4, and I found them at a secondhand bookshop, but they were very expensive, so I didn't get them. So I had to find another way to get them. But I give this a 3.5. Next, I read That Dark Infinity, and based on the cover, I thought this was going to be more like horrid or like a book like that, but it was actually fantasy, and I liked it. I liked the premise of it. I gave it a 3.5 as well. This is a book I would reread in like 2-3 years and probably give it a higher rating. I just think at the time I was reading this right after I had DNF so many books, and I felt like not ashamed, but I felt like I wasn't getting anything done. So I read this with the intention to get a book done and not with the intention to read. And that is something I don't want to do again. But I liked it enough and I gave it 3.5 stars. Next, I read Vision and Silver. This is book 3 in the Others series. And this is a reread. The entire series I reread, and it was so good. I love this series so much. I have read this less than a year ago, and I'm already rereading it. It's crazy to me, but I had a great time reading it, so I don't even... These books made me so happy. I love them. Then we're back to the DNFs. The first book I DNF'd was The Stars Undying. I did think I was going to DNF this, but my main gripes with this book is that this is a sapphic Cleopatra and Caesar retelling. We don't get introduced to one of the women who is in this book by the time I DNF'd it, which was like 60-ish pages in. And we get 2 POVs, one of the women and then the man that the other woman works for. And we got like just put in the middle of a story. And then I didn't know anything about either the man or the woman, but the man has such a beautiful voice. And I was like, they're going to be a cute couple. I would love them talking to each other. And then I remembered, oh, this is a sapphic book, but the women haven't even met yet. And I don't even care about any of it. So I DNF'd it. I was confused, I was bored, and I was like, why does this man get a POV and not the other woman? And maybe she does later on, but I don't know. The next one I DNF'd was The Midnight Lie. I didn't get that far into this. I got like, I would say like 20-ish% at most. It was very confusing, and I didn't care at all. So because of that, it has to go. But it was very confusing. I have, again, just jumped into a story. And mind you, I don't want like a lore dump like on me like that, but it just put you into the middle of something that I had to check that this was book 1. And then I was just like, I don't care about the characters. We're not getting taught anything. And then we just got jumped to trauma. Like I read all the way up until chapter 12. And I was just like, okay. Next, I read Tomorrow. It is a issue comic that I didn't enjoy. I gave it 3 stars. I've had it for a while. I don't know why I didn't read it. I think I wanted to collect all of them first, but then I was like, why would I collect them if I don't know if I'm going to like them or not? It was good. It's just not something I would want to continue, but it's not even that long. It's like 5 issues long. So this is one of 5. It's basically about if we got diseases through electronics and stuff. Like we got like the zombie virus from screens and electronics and things like that instead. And it was just okay, you know? I was just like, okay, great premise, I guess. But next I have Where the Library Hides. This is the second and final book in the Isabel Bayan series. I just don't remember what the series is called. The Secrets of the Other World or something like that. I gave it a 3.5. A little bit of a disappointing way of finishing a series. I felt like the MMC needed to grovel more. And I just felt like she made everybody a villain. You can see my thoughts on this and me finishing series. That's a vlog I did. I finished a couple of series in there. You'll see Goldfinch, you'll see a couple books, and yeah. Next two I read were Marked in Flesh and Etched in Bone. These are the last two in the Others series. Both 5 stars, both amazing. The reread is complete. This will be in a vlog about me rereading and annotating some books, and here they are. I didn't annotate these. These I wouldn't annotate, but ooh, this series is top tier. I love this world. So that's why after that, I read the spinoff series. That's a trilogy, and that would be Lake Silence, Wild Country, and Crowbones. And I gave Lake Silence 4 stars, Wild Country 3.5, and then Crowbones 4 stars. And then we even had a little cameo from some of the main characters from the original series in it. I just love this so much. I love being back in that world. It's so fun seeing other communities because it's a very interesting paranormal fantasy series, and it's so interesting seeing other parts of the world that we've only heard about being seen, how they developed the same issues and sometimes even worse. It was a good time. Then I have Clown in a Cornfield 2, and I gave this one 4 stars. It was really good. I need to get book 3, but it was really, really good. I want to watch the movie because it came out recently, but this was really good. I had a great time reading it. I had the same thoughts I had in book 1, but I liked the development of this one. I liked the way it developed the evil people in this one more than the first one, but it was still really, really good. I just was like, all of these people, they were there on January 6th. You know they were. Not the main characters, but everybody doing all this wrong nonsense. They were there on January 6th. We know it. Next, I read Wraith. This was one of the books I was rereading and annotating, and I had a great time reading this one. This is my 3rd time, and I love it every single time. But I think I can finally take a break and not read it every year. I usually read it once a year because, in my opinion, this is one of the most perfect romances because there's no third act breakup. They tell each other how they feel almost immediately. They form a general connection with each other, and they just gradually go to a relationship, and it's just so good. When they argue, they communicate, and it's 250 pages. In my opinion, that's the perfect romance. So here it is. This is my perfect, quick to the point, good couple sexy scenes, nothing too crazy romance. Because then we have another book that I reread, which is All Roads Lead Here. And this one, your girl didn't know how to stop annotating. Let's do some ASMR. But this book right here is All Roads Lead Here. I reread this one so I could annotate it. And the reason I didn't annotate the first time I read it is the same thoughts I had during this one. It starts off slow. It is a grumpy sunshine, slow burn. And it was amazing. I love this book. I think it's a great, great novel. This is my perfect slow burn. There's still no third act breakup, which my favorite romances don't have them. Or they're very short. Let's just say that. Either they're very short or they don't have them. But this, top tier. Top tier. Next, I read Death is My BFF. 2 stars. I did not like any of the characters. And I just finished this because I was like, I don't feel like DNFing another book. I need some books to count, you know? But no. And it's a series of, and this is a Wattpad book. I read 2 Wattpad books, and one was amazing, and one was this. It just wasn't great at all. And that's the thing. She's in high school, but in this picture, he even looks like a grown man. Yeah, he has after like a what is it called? Like a noon shadow thingy. And it's like you're attracted to her and she's kind of attracted to him, but he looks like a grown man. It's just, I'm not effing with it. I don't like that. He has a 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, no. And then lastly, if I'm not leaving anything off, I read Magic Bites. This is book 1 in the Alona Andrews series. Kate Daniels. I think this is the last series I have to read for her. I read already Hidden Legacy series, the Innkeeper Chronicles series. So now I'm reading Magic Bites. And honestly, wasn't my fave. I gave it 3 stars. This is one of the lowest Alona Andrews I've ever rated. Also, what this series is a million books long, so I'll probably, love more books from her in this series because I'm gonna try a couple more books in the series. But I just thought it was okay. It was good. It was okay. I enjoyed Hidden Legacy book 1 better and Innkeeper Chronicles book 1 better. But this was still not bad at all. I just love that every single universe, the vampires, the werewolves are different. Because every single universe has them. Hidden Legacy, it was more like just magic systems. Just straight up magic. I think of Wizards of Waverly Place magic systems mixed with like Harry Potter. But for Innkeeper Chronicles, they have werewolves and all different types of creatures and vampires and stuff. And then you see vampires in this series, Magic Bites, the Kate Daniels series, and they're like more like insects and like zombie-ish and gross and infected type of thing. But in Innkeeper Chronicles, they're more like deadly soldiers who have emotions, can mate, have feelings, all the things. It's just interesting how they can make such completely different versions of a character. I think these authors are one of the only authors that actually do spins on what we know as a vampire and werewolf framework. I think Alona Andrews, Patricia Briggs, and Anne Bishop do that very well. I've never read creatures like theirs before, and I really enjoy that because everything doesn't need to be the same, you know? They're made up creatures, and y'all are still using a guideline as if they're humans. Go outside the box a little bit, you know? Now we are moving on to the mid-year freakout tag. So let's get into it. This is my first ever mid-year freakout tag on YouTube. I did one last year on TikTok. So let's get into it. Best book I read this year. I haven't had many 5 stars, but the ones I had are very special to me. So I'm choosing Bonesmith. This book I'm choosing, I read it in January. This made me fall in love with YA fantasy again. I thought I was just growing out of it. I'm 21 years old, and I thought I was just growing out of it and it was just over for me. And that seems weird, but then I read this and I fell in love with it again. This moment would be locked in my brain forever because I started reading it the day before my city got snow for the first time in like over a decade. And I was reading it outside, sitting on my porch while it was snowing, and it just made me happy. It's a very great memory to have. It's one of the first memories in my junk journal for 2025. I just loved this book so much, and I loved reading it and experiencing the world with it. So it will always have a deep place in my heart and a special place in my heart because of that. Next is what's the best sequel I have read, and that would be Heartstrings by Ivy Fairbanks. I really enjoyed reading this series. I got the arc of book 2, and it was so good that I was just like, this is top tier romance. I had a great time reading it. I loved it the same or even more than book 1, which doesn't happen often. Next is new release I haven't read but want to. I don't really buy a lot of new releases or look forward to many new releases, but I'm going to say The Bones Beneath My Skin by TJ Klune because I have read and finished last year the Wolf Song series, the Green Creek series by him, and I loved it. Those were my first TJ Klunes. So I want to read something else. And I feel like people have a love-hate relationship with him. Like they love Cerulean Sea, then they didn't love the Puppets one or things like that. So I just want to see if he's a love-or-hate type of author as well. But this cover is beautiful. All of his covers are so beautiful. Whoever makes them, you do an amazing job, let me just tell you. Next question is most anticipated release of the second half of 2025. And that has to be The Strength of the Few by James Islington, you tell me. I read The Will of the Many, and I think about The Will of the Many 3 times a week minimum. and I gave it like a 4.5 star, but I think it has to be a 5 star just from that alone. I think about that scene at the end of the trials when he's walking out with you know who and then he falls over. I think about that scene 3 times a week minimum. I think about the scene, the very last scene, so many times. Like that book series, that book in general, because not even a series yet. It'll come out till November, but that book, it left something in me, and I don't know what that means for me. That's why I'll get to it because there's another question. Biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment is The Stars Undying. I just thought I was really gonna love this book. I heard great things about it, and it just seemed right up my alley. Gay women in space. What is there more to ask for? And I didn't enjoy like the pacing, writing, and I didn't really know the characters that well. So, and it was a DNF, and that's crazy to me. Next question was, what is the biggest surprise to you? Book surprise to you? And I have 2 answers for this. Both of these books were given to me because the person that they had them didn't enjoy them or DNF them, and a lot of people didn't like them and DNF them when I was watching like BookTube and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna read them and then I'm just not gonna enjoy them. And I gave both these books 4.5 to 5 stars, and I was like, ooh, I am in the minority. But I didn't mind. I didn't mind it at all. First, we have What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez. I should have known I was going to like this because she wrote another book that no one talks about, but it's called Together We Burn. It's really, really good. And I like that one, but I just didn't realize it was the same author. I loved this book, had a great time. But as you saw earlier in this video, the sequel was not that great, in my opinion. I saw people really give that low ratings and DNF it, and I understand. I just didn't like where she went with that one, but I really, really loved this book. It was so good. And then the second one, Long Live Evil. I had a great time reading this book. A phenomenal time reading this book. I couldn't put it down. The ending is diabolically crazy, but also I have the Fairy Loot edition, and it had like extra scenes from the author that the author wrote, and it was letters that he wrote while he was in the trenches. And I was like, oh my god, book 2 needs to come out tomorrow. This book was so good. I just hope it has a happy ending. Oh my god. Okay, I can't get too hung up on it. New favorite author. I'm going to say James Islington, or I'm gonna say Islington. James Islington. I think he's become my I've only read one book, but he has 4 books out so far. So I was like, I think he might be like, his writing is crazy. So I got his first ever book because I was like, I need to read more from this man. Look how thick this girl is. But she will be getting read. You don't even have to worry about that. But I just love the Wheel of Time. This is about to become your new favorite series. Never read it, Wheel of Time, but I'm getting more into my adult fantasy bag, and I'm doing that with an amazing man because The Will of the Many is diabolically crazy. Newest fictional crush. And I think mine is going to be Callum from Morbidly Yours. But it could be the guy from book 2 as well. But I'm going to say Callum. He is cute and nerdy. He has a stutter and he's a mortician. That's not why he's my crush, but I just think he's a lovely man who is just socially awkward. And I feel like we would be socially awkward together. He's the most like me MMC that I've seen in a long time. I just really adored him as a character as a whole. It was so good. It was so good. And it had that dynamic of like manic pixie dream girl type of girlfriend with a quiet in the corner during a party boyfriend. I love that dynamic. It's very cute. I love him as a person, as a character. So he would be, if he was a real man, and there's probably men just like him outside in the world, I just don't know where they'd be. I'd be walking in bookstores mysteriously trying to find a man. And it's not really working. Where's my Callum is the question. Newest favorite character is Vicky Devine from the World of the Other series. So she was in Lake Silence and in Crowbones. She is an amazing character. She's very human, and I just like her as a character. She reminds me a lot of Meg Corbin, who was the main character from the original series, but but different, and I like her. She has traumas that she's trying to get over, which, you know, trauma is trauma. It can't get over that quickly, but she is a very developed person. I hope we see more from these people, because the last one, Crow Bones, came out in 2022, so maybe she's just done with that series. But I think she's a great character, great, well-written character. Book that made you cry. I have two here. First, and I have videos of me crying for both of them. So first we have Me Before You. This made me have a existential crisis about if I'm doing enough with my life. I could die tomorrow, and how would I feel? I could be in the same position as him, and how would I feel? Have I done enough with my life where I feel fulfilled if something were to happen to me? It was so good. But it also brought up that topic of should they have the ability and the right to end their own life when they want to, whether that's due to a terminal illness or a ailment that cannot be fixed and will never get better. It was so good. It was so good. The next one, having had a crisis in a different way, but this is Hollow Fires. This just made me think about the world that we live in and how we do live in a dystopian at the moment. And it just made me think about how all people of color are treated horribly, but also how so many people of color, due to their closeness with white people or trying to fit into a society that doesn't want them in the first place, will turn on the people who know how they feel the best, just to be in proximity to. Oh, I could write a whole thesis. But I cried. And I'll link both the videos where I cried, because I cried crazily. Book series that made me happy. It's going to be the other series. I said it during the wrap up. This made me so happy. I had a great time reading it, and it was just like, oh, now it's time to move on to the next one. Now it's time to move on to the next one. Now it's time to move on to the next one. I was so happy reading these books. It made me want to go straight into the spinoff series. I love these books so much. I think everybody should read them. There's a different spin and take on the world one, but creatures, and they're so good. More people need to read those books, and I will be screaming it from the rooftop. Anne Bishop, Alona Andrews, Patricia Briggs, and I'm gonna find some Black authors like that. I have some in mind. I wrote a list down, and I'm gonna start looking for them, because I love them. I love my girlies / husband and wife duo, but I want some melanin books like this, because these are top tier books. So yeah. Favorite book to movie adaptation. Now, before literally yesterday, I didn't have one, but I watched Homefront with Jason Statham. While I was watching the intro, it said based on a novel. So I said, oh, period. Typed in, but it's Homefront. It has Jason Statham in it. It has James Franco. It has Cornbread from Sinners. It has Winona Ryder. It has a lot of famous people in it, actually. I would give it like a 7 out of 10. I feel like a lot of the characters weren't developed well, other than Jason Statham's character and his daughter, kind of. But, you know, some plot lines went nowhere, you know. It was just an action movie being an action movie. It reminds me of Orphan X, but, like, less developed. So I would read the book if it's interesting. Favorite post I've posted this year. Okay, I'm gonna do a YouTube one, and I'm gonna do a TikTok one. For TikTok, my favorite one that I've posted is the video that got a lot of girlies heated, which was my Zodiac Academy hot takes video. Hated the book, and that's the hot take. I like that one a lot. It got a lot of discussions going, but it also showed people's hypocrisy, and I just don't think they realized that. And my favorite YouTube video, I think, is my reading vlog, where I cried about Hollow Fires in. But I think that's my favorite video. It's the first time I felt like I was a real YouTuber when I was editing. It felt like I was editing a vlog I would watch, and that made me very happy to see. So I think that would be my favorite one, and I hope you guys liked it as well. And it's one of the first ones where I got like a long comment about the Hollow Fire section where I was crying, and it just made me happy. So that would be my favorite one. Next is most beautiful book I've bought this year. And I could have like kind of cheated using like a Fairy Loot special edition, but I'm not going to. The most beautiful book I just bought it, is Midnight Rooms. This book is diabolically beautiful. I saw Joreline Reed's haul it because she loves horror and thrillers. She hauled it and I said, oh, I need to buy that immediately. I don't even think I was listening to what the book was about, but I said a black girl on the cover looking spooky scary is getting hauled. It reminds me of Amber McBride covers, and I love Amber McBride, so I had to get it. Last question. What books do I want to read by the end of the year? I have 4, and the 4 are the last 4 for my 25 and 2025. Here are the last 4. I have Starsight by Brandon Sanderson that I need to read. I have House of Lee by Mark Z. Danielewski. I have Malice by John Gwynne that I need to read. And I have The Priory of the Orange Tree that I need to read. These are the last books on my 25 to read in 2025. These 4 right here. Ugh. I don't know how it's gonna go, and I'm quite nervous about it. It's creepy. This one, I think I'm the most nervous about, to be honest. Yeah, those are the last 4. Those are the last books I want to read for this year. This is I don't think I've ever finished a blank and blank. I never finished one before. This is the closest I've ever gotten in the same year. I finished them after the year is over, but I've never finished them in the same year. And I have 6 months left to read 4 books. Should be simple, should be easy. I'm on hold for this on Libby, and I've been on hold for a quick minute, so she's probably going to be a thing. This I have to read by eye because it's so convoluted and crazy that it doesn't have the audiobook. This one, I don't have the audiobook for it, and they're not on Libby, and they're on Audible, but and then this one, again, doesn't have an audiobook on Libby. Pisses me off. But book 2 has one, which is the prequel. Stupid. But yeah, I'm gonna read them. They're just thick as hell and overwhelming and scary, but maybe I'll read one at least this month coming up. That's it. That is my June wrap up and my mid-year freakout tag, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some recommendations. Remember, if I dislike the book, that doesn't mean you'll dislike a book. We all have different tastes and different views on books. I hope you enjoy some of the books that I didn't enjoy, and I'll see you guys in a different video in the next video. Have a great, amazing, scrumdiddly umptious reading day, reading month, reading year, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!